Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday night's coverage of the Sim Race South Africa 2021.1 GT3 series. My name's Alan Patterson, and I'm in the booth tonight. I might be joined a little bit later by my buddy Sus, but I'm going to be hopefully bringing you coverage of the Division 2 race this evening, and hopefully there's a whole lot of excitement. We're in with 15 minutes to go of this 30-minute or half-hour qualifying, and you can see the conditions. They're exactly what we had on Monday night, so expect some exciting, entertaining racing. We are currently 23 people on the track. Well, I lie, sorry, 29. We were expecting around about 38, 37 or 38, but we did have a few people who couldn't make it for personal reasons, or there's some issues somewhere, might be some load shedding. But at the moment, I have 29. As far as I'm aware and understand, we are not locking the servers, so anybody who does arrive and drive a little bit later, they've still got just under 13 minutes left. So conditions, as you can see by the weather icons up at the top right hand corner, the track is wet. It's a 22-degree track temperature. However, it's going to get heavier and heavier. This is the qualifying session. The race session we're going to hope is similar, and will provide a variable weather, so we'll see how that goes. Currently up at the top of the charts, it's Ashraf Kassem, and he's currently sitting on a 146.3, and going all the way down to my man Rob Walker, who is in the pits. He hasn't set a time yet, but Ryan Hill, our technical guru and admin, he is 27th, 7.2 seconds off the pace. So a lot of room to improve, a lot of room to move. A 146.3 plus 7 point something seconds. It's a 7.5, almost 8 seconds separating the field at the moment. I'll quickly show you a section on the HLQ times. This is what happened as far as HLQ goes, with Dale de Villiers being the quickest, a 1:35.1, although these times were on a dry server. 1:35.1 to 36th place was split by 6.5 seconds in quali. So if we look at Monday night's HLQ times, we had pole position at a 1:40 and 38th place at a 1:48, so an 8-second split separating 38 cars there. So looks like we're pretty much on par for the same kind of performance split, and a good turnout tonight as well. Right, let's see what's going on the track. Ronald Childs, part of Black Widow Racing, the BWR Slots team, and he's out in one of the almighty Astons. He's currently 6/10 up on this lap. We're going to just follow him round. Oh, and he just runs a little wide there. I think that might have been a cut, but he is losing time here, so he did slow down to not run out of bounds there. Still currently just a fraction up on his delta. You can see the conditions on the track, very tricky, and it's going to be interesting to see what transpires in the first couple of laps of this race. There was some huge pit strategies going on Monday night in the Division 1 race. People were trying to run long, people were running short, some pitted mid-race. There was a whole lot going on there. So we'll see what the Division 2 guys have to say. currently got 9 people online on the YouTube channel. Nobody said hello yet, but welcome to everybody that is there and watching. Great to have you with me. Let's hold thumbs for an awesome event, this awesome night's racing tonight. Gonna go and look for somebody else, anybody on a quick lap, and we do. Down in 23rd, Sean Vaveje. He's just must have run a little bit wide on that lap because it didn't count. He's just started a quick lap now, so we'll see how he gets along. Currently race leader Ashraf Kasim in the pits, still on pole with a 146.380, I believe. He's coming out the pits now in one of the Lexus. Second place at the moment, it's Dale de Villiers in a Ferrari. He's running off course there, so that won't count. Third is Robin van der Merwe. Rob, part of the Logistical Nightmare racing team. And Robin doing really well so far. Currently third. 146.8. So he's 5/10 off the pace. Fourth place, Ronald Childs. Yeah, in the Aston. And on another lap, this lap he's already a 10th or 2 up, 147.3. Fifth place, Rowan Stevens in the Rover Racing Porsche. This car made famous at the VLN series at Nürburgring 24 Hour. Sixth place, Diane de Villiers, racing for Simrace Africa, the miners team. He's quickest to 147.5 at the moment. Hello Vimpy, welcome buddy. Cole Steeg in 7th place. SRMC Development Racing, Cole Steeg, a 147.7. 8th place, also in the pits, Calvin Diogo, part of the Sim Racing crew with my buddy Peter Geldenhuys. A 147.7 for Calvin in one of the big Mercs. 9th place, Louis Marcus. Yo, as we catch him there doing a huge slide for Odin Racing. Louis Marcus in the Lexus. And 10th place, James Leach for Team Leach Racing. And he's also out in one of the Lexus and just coming through the second sector. Oh, and he just outbrakes himself and has a bit of a spinner there. Oh no, sorry, he's just started the first sector there, and he'll be getting along onto another lap. So that's the top 10 at the moment. 146.3 to 147.9, so still pretty close. Mr. Leach Senior, good evening, sir. Shouting for James Leach, who we're currently watching. Send regards to Renier. I don't see him here. I don't know if he races the GT3 series, but nonetheless. Thomas Trollope currently sitting in the pits. I've got his delta very high, so I think the timing system's just busy trying to sort itself out. Thomas Trollope running one of 2 or 3 Audi R8s here. Melvin Trollope, he's in a Bentley, part of the TRT racing team. Anthony Wilson, the second driver of Team Logistical Nightmare, currently in 20th with a 149.6, so he's a good 4.5 seconds off the pace, but there's still well, there's not that much time left. It's already 4.5 minutes to go, so quali's almost done here. Okay, let's go now seriously hunt for some quick laps. Gerrit Janssen van Vieren. Yeah, we have Gerrit in a Aston Martin, and as I select him, he drives off the track. So this is not me. Brett Crowcump, how's it, buddy? Volume on the cars? Certainly, sir. Stand by. Let's just crank that volume knob up a bit. There we go. Let me know. Philip Minot, welcome to the channel. Great to have you here with us. Yep, guys are going to struggle in the conditions. Okay, Ronald Charles in his red Aston. He is currently on a green Delta. Currently 1.5 tenths up. Oh, and he picks up the pace, gets a good drive out of that hairpin. Misano, not the easiest track. It looks very simple. It is not. I actually think there's a story behind this track where it was specifically designed for the MotoGP or motorbike series, and they ran in the opposite direction to how they run today, and somebody decided to run it the other way, and that's what we have here. Ronald Childs unfortunately ran a little bit wide there, so he's lost that time. Dale de Villiers in second place in the Ferrari, however, he is 1.2 seconds up on this lap. So in the dying moments of qualifying, and we've got a yellow flag up here, so somebody's off the track. Okay, it's been cleared. Dale carrying still a second, and we'll watch him come round. He's just finishing sector 1 and going on to the fast section 2. Still half a second up. We'll see how how steady he is on that wheel. And the view from in the car, as you can see, the raindrops all over the windscreen, so guys need to have some good clear visibility here, especially when following cars ahead. It gets very tricky. Oh, and Dale runs, oh, and he spins it up. Oh, let's hope nothing like that happens in the race, but bad luck there for Dale. So we're down to 1 minute 15. Frank Klopper, good evening to you, sir, and Ivan Karamaker also on board and shouting for the man James Leach. He is currently leaving the pits. Right, Gerrit's on a quick lap. Here's Ryan van Wyk in his Ferrari, and he is just about to start the second sector, the quick fast back end and long back straight, and he is currently half a second up plus on his Delta. So let's see if he can negotiate this hairpin onto the long back straight, and then the fast right hand sweeps down to the next hairpin. Oh, just misses a spun Lexus there. Did take a little bit of time out of his pace, but he's still up. JP van Nieuwenhuizen in 18th place, also 1 second up on his Delta, and he's just run a little bit wide somewhere, and that Delta's gone. Right, here comes Ryan into the hard braking. Oh, does he make that? He's just hanging on. No, he runs too deep. Wow, this track is tricky. Gerrit, watch this. In his Aston, does he hang on to it? He does. So Gerrit in 12th place. This is going to push him up a few positions. It does. He goes all the way up into 4th place. That's it. They're in the overtime for qualifying. So anybody out that's on a hot lap now, that's going to count. And that would be De Volt Kotze. Here he is for SimRace Africa in the McLaren. And De Volt currently at least half a second up. And he is on a lap. This is going to count if he can get it all the way around. He's just getting onto the long back straight here. Let's see if he can get this all the way around. This should help him improve. He's currently on a best of 148.1 in 13th place, and he's 7 tenths up. Now 8 tenths. This is looking good. Still half a second as he comes out of the hairpin. Got to just negotiate 2 more corners now to the main, to the start finish straight. 1 corner to go. He's half a second up. Oh, he lost a bit of time there, but he is going to improve. 13th place, he goes up to 9th place, so into the top 10 for Diabalkotsa. It was a good last lap, and I think that's it. He was the last man on track. So that's everybody in and on the grid. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back shortly. Right, we're back with you. Cars are currently on the grid. We are 2 minutes out. Sean Bingham on the YouTube, welcome. Glad to have you here, and thanks for joining. So let's see what happens. Ashraf Kasim on pole position in the Lexus. Next to him, Dale de Villiers in the AF Corsa Ferrari. Then third place, Robin van der Merwe. Robin doing an awesome job for Logistical Nightmare, the orange and black car. Next to him on the inside, Gerrit Janssen van Vieren in the light blue or white and orange Aston Martin. He's next to the pit lane. In fourth, then further back, excuse me, Ronald Childs in the red Aston Martin. So there's already 3 Aston Martins in the top 5 there. Next to him, Ruan Stevens in the Rover Racing Porsche. He's done very well to get a Porsche up there. Then we have Diane de Villiers in his Lexus. Carl Steeg in the red Ferrari, red and black Ferrari. 9th place, Diabalkotsa in the McLaren. And rounding out the top 10, Calvin Diogo in the Mercedes AMG GT3. Right, session's going to start. 20 seconds to go. We're going to start with the 1 lap pace lap as it is at SimRace South Africa. Guys will go around the track single file, try and generate some heat in the brakes and tires if they can get it right. And then it's a 45-minute burn in this nice condition, wet condition race. We should see some entertaining racing here. Joshua Knapp on the YouTube. Let's go Van Wyk and Tarika. Team Shabin. Yes, I did see them earlier. Jevan Tarika down in 21st place. And he's racing for Team Shabin. Here he is in the maroon, metallic maroon Ferrari. I think it's Ryan van Wyk as well. Ryan van Wyk in the, I don't know what color that is. Kind of pinkish, metallic pink with white roof. That Ferrari, that's also Team Shabin. Joshua Knapp shouting for them. Brett Crocomp. This one's going to be a big tester. I agree, man. It should be huge fun. Ashraf leading them out along the first little straight after the first sort of sector. And then he's going to have to bunch them up as he comes down at the end of the long back straight. I noticed on Monday our Lexus had some good inline speed. There was some great dices going on between the Lexus and Aston Martin, and there's a couple of them here tonight. Odin Racing, our man Ryan, and a few others also out in Lexus. So we'll see how they do. Cobus Russ, he's in a Mercedes. Cobus Russ for Notsup Independent Racing, NSRR. Yassine Manuel, SPS Automotive Performance, Mercedes-Benz. Okay, we're going up to the front. Everyone now getting into double file, getting ready for the start. This is where everyone panics because the system tells everyone to hurry up, and then they all hurry up, and then everyone's slowing down up at the front of the hurry up. So we'll stick with the helicopter view and watch them take the first couple of corners. It should give us some decent coverage. The first sector on this track is extremely tricky, and we saw on Monday night there was some dramas on the first couple of corners on the first lap. A couple of gaps, as we can see further back. They're not all in the right places, but oh, there's one car really far back there. But anyway, here we go. Ashraf Kasim leads them around in the Lexus. De Villiers pulls in behind him with Robin van der Merwe in the Logistical Nightmare Aston in third. And then it's Janssen van Vieren. So everyone keeping it clean. Logistical Nightmare looking up the inside. Here was some dramas on the sharp hairpin, but they've all made it through. Oh, a little bit of contact there between second and third. We're on our way. Okay, just let my timing screen catch up because it's fallen behind somewhat. Oh. Okay, thank you, Mr. ACC. Right, Ashraf, and he's up and running. Robin into second place. Here we go. Logistical Nightmare Aston Martin into second place. Runs a little deep. Everyone's still trying to get their footing and settling down for this this wet race. And the weather, as you can see, for the next 10 minutes or up to 30 minutes. Oh, and there was an Aston. That was one of the leading Astons. Oh, James Leach is out already. What is that? He's coming out the pits? I don't know. Something happened or something was wrong, but James Leach seems to be coming. No, he's not out the pits. He's right there. Everything's good. James Leach in 7th place and doing well. Not too sure what is going on with our timing screens, but it'll settle down. So there we go. Ashraf over the line for a first lap under his belt, and all settled. And everybody comes right up behind him. So Robin van der Merwe is there. Robin van der Merwe coming through in that Aston. Right behind him is Dale de Villiers in his Ferrari. Diane de Villiers in the second Lexus, I'm sorry, for SimRace Africa, and he's doing really well. Then we have another Aston, that's Gerrit Janssen van Vieren in 5th, and Ruan Stevens in 6th place. All the gaps are still pretty close, so we're just going to settle down and see where the dices will develop. I think a lot's going to happen a little further back. We're going to go to 10th place. It's Yassine Manuel. Oh, and they're side by side. Oh, there's 3 abreast here. Whoa, and that Merc has gone around. You've seen he was on the outside. I think that was Graham Stoppel who's facing the wrong way in his Merc. Louis Marcus just up ahead in 9th place in his Lexus. I believe that is Odin Racing. It is. Cold Steeg having a huge race here. Cold Steeg in this light blue Porsche just ahead of I'm sorry, James Stroud. Cold Steeg just ahead in his Ferrari. Oh, Anthony Wilson. Oh, in the McLaren. There's a SimRace Africa McLaren out on the end of the long back straight. Was that Diane de Villiers? No, it wasn't Diane de Villiers. It was Dieval Kotze. Oh, he's dropped a whole lot of positions. He's going backwards here. So he's managed to get it all put back together again, and he's in 15th place and just goes past James Leach. James Leach in 16th place. They're just behind him. Sure, it's all jumping around at the moment. I'm trying to keep up with the chopping and changing. Oh, and that Audi's just gone right through a braking marker. 316. That's Thomas Trollope in the Audi who was having a bad moment there. But let's go back up to the front. Ashraf all out on his own, but behind him we've got Dale de Villiers and Diane de Villiers chasing him down. Dale going well in the Ferrari. Diane de Villiers in 3rd place in the Lexus. Oh, and they both run deep, especially Diane. Oh, he's gone very deep, and that's 3rd place out the window. Ruan Stevens goes past in the Rover Porsche, as does Robin van der Merwe and Gerrit Janssen van Vieren. I suspect I'm going to have a very busy evening here tonight. Sure, it's all chopping and changing. Liam Wright on the YouTube, hello, and Alex Goddard. Yeah, don't think I'll be saying that on YouTube, but Stevens for the win. So, Ruan Stevens in the Rover Racing Porsche, he's now up into 3rd place. Robin van der Merwe just behind him for Logistical Nightmare Racing, and Gerrit Janssen van Vieren, so we'll keep an eye on these guys. It's a very tricky section down the back end. Oh, I can see there's somebody spun on turn 1, 2, 3. Oh, Dieval Kotze's. Oh dear. As I catch him there, old James Leach gives him a little tap and around he goes. Dieval having a nightmare of a session. Crosses oncoming traffic, misses Sean Vervege's BMW by a cat's hair. Here's Ryan Hill in his for Odin Racing in the Lexus, and I've got Graham Stoppel in the pits. I don't think he's still here. Mark Hansen in the pits, so he's looking a little bit worse for wear. Possibly early pit stop or some repairs going on there. Jevon Tarika, he's currently in 25th and having a sideways moment out in the sand. Let's go back up to the front. Ruan Stevens still in 3rd. Robin van der Merwe chasing. Ruan is closing in on Mr. de Villiers in the Ferrari. Hard braking. This is turn 4, 5, 6 in the first sector of this lap. And the Porsche is clearly closing in on the back of Del de Villiers here. Cameron Peterson, and welcome to the YouTube. Walker. What? My Windows update messed up my sound, then froze the sim. Had to revalidate, was too late to rejoin. Get back on, man. I don't think the server's locked. You can get back in. Jason Holden Jones, good evening to you. And Cameron Peterson shouting for Ryan. But this is all going on here for second place. As you can see on the camera, they're closing in. This gap is... in fact, Robin van der Merwe is half a second off the back of Ruan Stevens. Oh, and they come together. As I capture that on screen... oh, and the Porsche Ruan's also spun round, and there's more taps and bangs. Wow. Let's see if that happened on replay. Yes, it did. Here they come into this fast. Here's a turn and a braking section. Ferrari goes through. Robin van der Merwe comes through. Turns the Porsche around. Goes onto the grass. Then the Lexus comes along. Oh, it all happened there. Bad luck. So what's going on? Del de Villiers is back in second place in the Ferrari, but now Gerrit Janssen van Vieren is up into third place in his Aston Martin. Diane de Villiers is down to fourth, Yassine Manuel down to fifth, and Ruan Stevens in his Porsche down to sixth. Mr. Stevens, Ruan Stevens. Well, he just had a little bit of a moment right now in the Porsche, so I don't know what my thoughts are, to be honest. It is one of my favorite liveries, and I have followed the Rover Racing BMW M6s in the VLN series and the Porsches. Great looking car. What can anyone say? Right, looking just behind him, it's Ronald Charles with the red Aston. He had a huge moment on lap 1, and he's busy driving back up through the field here. So Ronald Charles up into 7th place and attacking the back of Yassine Manuel. Yep, Jason, the track is wet. This is pretty much how we had it on Monday, and it was tricky. This braking section here, this second last corner into this hairpin, it's a super tricky corner. Here you can see everyone's catching up onto the back of Ruan Stevens. So this is going to provide some entertainment shortly. Anthony Wilson goes into the pits early in 18th. Hello, Dirk Brunt on the YouTube shouting for Carl Steeg. And Carl in 8th place, just behind Ronald Childs. A little ways back actually. Oh, and Ruan runs long in the Porsche. Oh, here comes big problems for Ruan Stevens. Yassine Manuel's right there in the Mercedes. Ruan's... everyone... oh, this is coming into turn 4. Careful. Ronald Childs goes up the inside. Takes advantage. Oh, gosh, I don't know how there wasn't a tap going on there. Then they get a drive out of that and onto this little first sector back straight. On board with Ronald Childs, looking ahead at Ruan Stevens, and as you can see the spray coming off the Porsche, and in the mirror above you see Manuel trying to keep up. We'll stick with Ronald Childs as he goes down the back straight. He'll get a good idea of the braking point coming into this second last corner. These two quite quick, and now you've got to start braking and turn. Watch that red paint, gets a little bit of a tank slapper. Ruan runs deep into the hairpin. This gives Ronald Childs a chance to attack. All good and well. Now through the next two quick left-handers. Tricky. This one generates a heap of oversteer, and you get bumped out onto these sausage curves if you're not careful. And there they go, over for another lap. Mercedes making a thundering sound. I love the sound of this, I'm sorry, the Aston. Oh, Yassine just catches that tank slapper. He's got a big enough gap back to Carl Steeg, who's coming up behind him. Cameron Peterson shouting for Team Shabin. Ryan van Wyk currently in 13th place for Team Shabin. Kind of settled down, although the front of this Ferrari is looking a little bit second hand. Oh, looking just up ahead there. That's Melvin Trollope in the Bentley with James Leach. Melvin Trollope getting a little dicey with James Leach. The Lexus and Bentley pretty good in the wet, as is the Aston. I think the guys in the Audi and the Porsche are seriously struggling. Oh, as we see just a little bit back here, that's Robin van der Merwe for a Logistical Nightmare, and that Aston is looking pretty second hand. The bonnet is up, and there's... Oh, and James Stroud in the Porsche had to catch that slide. So the Porsche showing its twitchiness under the braking zone off that long back straight. So there's a lot of racing going on here. Robin van der Merwe going well. Oh, James Leach runs deep through that corner. I don't actually understand why it does what it does. It just kind of pulls the car off the track. Leandra Kruger shouting for Ryan van Wyk. Hello, Leandra. So, yep, Ryan van Wyk down in 13th place. His partner in crime, unfortunately, is having a hard time of things. Jevon Tarika down in 26th place. Here he is. And he is pretty much last, with Robert Walker having left the game. Mark Hansen is in and going here, so he's back out the pits and running. Got some Cobus Russ coming out the pits, Team NSRR, and this is literally, he's just come out the pits and he had a turnaround there. Oh, I see a green Audi there as well, so that's possibly what caused that. I think that's Wyatt Avis. No, it's not Wyatt Avis, it's the other Audi, which is Trollope, Thomas Trollope in the green. Yep. So they must have had it coming together there just off the end of the back straight. Okay, let's catch our breaths here. 58 minutes to go. Ashraf Kasim still leading in the Lexus. And he is the best part of 13.5 seconds up the road. So Ashraf doing a great job considering these conditions. Diane de Villiers in his Lexus now 1-2, busy lapping that Trollope Audi. Ruan Stevens in third place again with the Porsche. There's clearly some position changes going on here. I just saw Ronald Childs there with the Aston. Oh, look at that Ferrari. I think that's Del de Villiers. So there's been a lot of position changing, chopping and changing, third, fourth and fifth. And we've got Ruan Stevens right back up into third place in the Robber Racing Porsche, doing great. It's Robin van der Merwe a bit further back. Carl Steeg in his red and black Ferrari. Matthew Greatwood on the YouTube. Ruan Stevens is going to make it 2 wins in a row. He's the Lewis Hamilton of Witbank. Well, if he can just keep this car on the track in these tricky conditions, let's see how he goes. He's coming up to lap. I think it's Thomas Trollope. Yes, Thomas in the green Audi. So Rowan Stevens goes over the start-finish line, and they start lap 10. Thomas slowing down there and letting Rowan go around the outside. Good driving, nice and predictable stuff. It's definitely all happening with these three. Ronald Charles, Dale de Villiers and Gerrit Janssen van Vieren. They're, as you can see, a couple of Gerrit getting a huge drive out of there, and Dale de Villiers running defensive. In fact, Gerrit's made the pass already, goes around the outside through this fast left-hander and heading down to the hairpin onto the back straight. So Gerrit Janssen van Vieren making a great pass there. Just ahead of him now, Ronald Charles in the other Aston Martin. Here you can see, and they're all now about to catch the Trollope Audi just ahead. We'll just stick with Dale as they come through this fast section. And two Astons just a bit further up. Everyone comes through there safe and sound. Ooh, Dale catches a bit of a drift. Going past the Trollope Audi onto the start-finish line, and Van Vieren's definitely closed up onto the back of Charles. This track and these conditions, it's all about being patient. You can't rush these moves. The race will come to you. You've just got to be patient. And there we see Ronald Charles running a little bit deep through that double right-hander. It's almost a hairpin, but it's not. And now Van Vieren is right there and in the slipstream. If he's going to make a move, and he's looking up the inside, decides against it for now, falls back into the normal racing line. Ronald Charles almost huge braking. Oh, and in the background, it's Dale de Villiers in the Ferrari, outbraking himself and losing control. Let's go and see. Yeah, he's caught the car, and Yassine Manuel has in fact passed him. So Yassine Manuel's gone through and back up into 6th place. We'll go back to Van Vieren, and he's chasing Ronald Charles down the long back straight. Right about now, everyone starts panicking. This little right-hander. Oh, and that's an NSIR car. Everyone's got to avoid. It's just lost it in that corner. They all miss it. Van Vieren definitely the quickest of the two Astons. Ronald Charles either carrying a bit of damage, or he's just he's struggling maybe with the tires. I'm not sure. But Van Vieren is all over the back of this Aston of Ronald Charles. Another lap under the belt, starting lap 12. Just dropping here down to 15th. James Stroud in the pale light blue and white Porsche. He was showing very close behind Deval Kotze, but I think that gap's just grown a little bit. Melvin Trollope in the big green Bentley, not too far behind Bradley Taylor. And the gaps are pretty static all the way up and down the grid at the moment, except for this Janssen van Vieren and Ronald Childs race. These two having a huge dice, and here we go again. Going back in cockpit here with Gerrit, and he's looking for a gap past Ronald Childs. Oh, Ronald's lost it. Oh, he's lost it big time. That's the position change. Let's go and see if Ronald's managed to... Yeah, he's just coming out the sand. There goes Yassine. And De Villiers comes past. And Robin van der Merwe for logistical nightmare. So Ronald Childs just loses 5 places there. I'll tell you what, it's that second last right-hander. We'll watch that on the replay. Right here, you have to turn and brake, and he hits the paint a little bit too much right there, and the back of the car comes round, and the tank slapper starts. Such bad luck. Right, Rowan Stevens up into third, I beg your pardon, is in third. Gerrit van Vieren, Janssen van Vieren up into 4th place. And Yassine Manuel in his Mercedes having a clean race, but he is in 5th place. $50 minutes left. You can see guys down at the bottom, those who have done their pit stops. Good couple of drivers already had either emergency pit stops, or there was some damage they had to repair. Or they're just doing a early pit stop and they're going to drive the rest of the race. But as you saw on Monday night, the rain dissipated. Just after halfway, the rain stopped. So anybody pitting early or halfway through the race and putting wets back on, let's see how that pans out. Okay, Ronald Childs again back on the driving back up the grid. In 8th place, and looking at the back of Dale de Villiers' Ferrari. Now he's tiptoeing through this corner, you can bet. Oh, and there's the Trollop Audi out on the right hand side. He turns around and gets going again. Yeah, that corner, it would make me hold my breath every time I came through there. A really tricky corner to negotiate fast. James Leach in 14th place, comes through in his Lexus. Oh, I saw just behind him there, I think that was James Stroud in his Porsche. Yes, it was. James Stroud struggling with that corner as well. I think we could plant a static camera at the end of that long straight and we'd catch all the action. Oh no, James Leach spinning on that corner, and again it's this basic little left-hander onto the start-finish line, and it just has this, it just causes so much oversteer or understeer at least, and pulls the car out into those sausage curbs, and that's what we just saw happen. Stroud goes ahead of James Leach. James Leach now under pressure from Bradley Taylor. Oh, and James is having a huge moment again and runs off deep off through turn 3. Well, the side of that car is looking decidedly worse for wear and having another bit of a moment. James not really enjoying this car, all these conditions by the looks of things. Melvin Trollope coming up to have another dice with James Bentley on Lexus. And there we see Ryan Hill in 24th into the pits. It's a little bit, no, that's kind of mid-race. Looking at the weather, however, I can't see it ending, although it says it's same conditions for the next 10 minutes. We're going in cockpit to James Leach through this tricky section, these right-handers. This is the one that's very tricky. A brake and turn. Oh, careful, careful. Right up behind Bradley Taylor's... No, he's not. Yes, it is Bradley Taylor. I beg your pardon. I thought he was in the blue car, but I'm getting him confused with someone else. Oh, James does it again. Same place, same slide. James hates that corner right now. Mr. Leach Senior, if you're there, tell him I said sorry, he's having a bad time. So, man. He's got going, now drops down to 17th place. Couple of cars going past. James usually extremely fast in the touring cars, but he doesn't like the ACC simulator at all. And the Lexus is actually not a bad car to drive, so I don't really know why he's struggling so much. Ryan Hill's still in the pits. Let's go and see what's going on there. Why is he not moving yet? He's been in here for an awful long time and he's pretty much dropped to the last place. So this might be a retirement for Ryan. Back up to the leader, Ashraf Qasim, and he's just negotiating some yellow flags here. So there's a car off again somewhere. It's the hairpin onto the back straight. Still a yellow flag. It's clear now. Oh, Gerrit Janssen van Vieren, 7/10 off the back of Diane de Villiers' Lexus, and this for third place. Joshua Knapp saying, oh, Van Wyk looking like a young Hamilton out there. Yeah, Ryan Van Wyk in 9th place at the moment. In the top 10, so doing well. Ryan Hill's still in the pit. I think Ryan's actually retired. That's a terrible shame. I'm gonna go and see if there's any messages I can see anywhere. Oh, Rob Walker, such bad luck there, man. Now Graham Stoppel's also out of the race, and yeah, when the administrators put those weather patterns up and you see rain, you guys need to seriously put in the track time and the practicing, because the wet is it's not for sissies, guys. Not easy. Okay, Ronald Charles all over the back of Yassine Manuel, who's all over the back of Robin van der Merwe. This is 4th, 5th and 6th, and these guys are pretty much nose to tail here. Robin runs very deep, and Yassine Manuel looking for a way past, as is Ronald Charles. Oh, tippy toe on the brakes, careful. Everyone comes through there nice and cleanly. Some good Dyson going on here. Dirk Brown saying, I bet Ryan had to take a work call. Ryan, are you on a call to America? He's still in the pits. I don't know what's going on. Go and have a look on his Twitch account. See if you can see anything, Dirk. Ronald Childs looking to try and get back past Yassine Manuel. They come through that tricky corner. Everyone runs a little wide there. We had to bribe this helicopter pilot to take off and fly around the track in these conditions. So it does provide us with some excellent footage. There you can see Ryan Hill's Lexus in the pits. There's Porsche coming out the pits. James Stroud in the pits as well, as is Mr. Trollope in his Audi. Oh no, that was a long way away, Ronald Charles, into the back of Yassine Manuel. And we'll see what transpires here. Yassine Manuel gets going, still coming off the grass. Ron Stevens goes past on the Porsche. Okay, Ronald Charles is indeed slowing down. Yassine Manuel takes the position back, but there was a net loss of 2 positions, so that was a very it was a little bit of a brain fade on the braking zones there, Ronald. Ron Stevens in his Porsche coming into this tricky braking point. Right-hander gets through there. Yeah, everyone's getting used to it now. So Robin van der Merwe now up into 4th place for Logistical Nightmare again. And heading for the pits. No, sorry, going past the pits. So we're now looking, we're pretty much middle of the road as far as race distance goes. So anybody running a 50-50 kind of a strategy, they're going to be coming in the pits now. James Stroud down in 17th has done his pits and is out and rolling. Yeah, Ryan Hill unfortunately seems to have retired. He's just chilling in the pits. Devlin Load on the YouTube. Kasim sweating like a gypsy on a mortgage, seeing Stevens coming up from 5th. Gypsy on a mortgage. No, Ashraf is so far up the road. I think he's okay. That's a bit of optimism. That's a bit of optimism there from Devlin Loader. Ashraf 26.5 seconds up the road. He's not sweating at all. He's chilling here in his Lexus. Yassine Manuel catches the Merc, runs a little deep on the braking point there. The Porsche runs very far, but that was a lap Porsche. I think that's James Stroud, in fact. So James Stroud now is 2 laps down on the bunch. Yassine Manuel thunders past and through the final corner onto the start-finish line. Watching the weather up at the top, and it's not changing. It's got a plus next to that 3rd cloud, so looks like the rain's going to get heavier. Track is still saying it's wet. Cole Steeg coming up also to lap James Stroud in the Porsche. James will just move a little across. I'm sure he'll be getting the blue flag and he'll know that that's a car coming up to pass him. Diane de Villiers in 3rd place, having a bit of a lonely race in the Sim Race Africa Lexus. Oh, Matthew Trollope in the pits. Sorry, Melvin Trollope. Interested to see who's gonna be the first to come in and pit. I'm sure a lot of these guys watched the strategy play out on Monday night, and a lot of people, including me, had a 50-50 pit stop strat. So I had to come in because I ran out of fuel, and it was like 10 minutes too early. So I put slicks on and then struggled for 25 minutes with very cold slick tires, had no grip, went from 8th to 18th. So hopefully these guys have a different strat. They're carrying more fuel and they can run longer. And if it's going to dry or stop raining, they'll have a chance. Dievel Kotze, he's in. So Dievel Kotze in his McLaren, he's the first of the relatively front-running cars to come in and pit. And that's pretty much 50-50 strat on the button as far as the race time goes. He comes to a halt and he's in, so he's going to get his pit stop out the way. Ashraf goes past and puts him a lap down. Ashraf's Lexus looks like it just rolled off the production line. It's clean and in good condition. Just up ahead, it's James Leach in his Lexus, and he's currently 14th place. They go past the Bentley of Trollope, who's just come out the pits for his pit stop. I wonder if he must have put wets back on. You can't even go around the corner on dries in these conditions. Okay, let's wait and see. 35 minutes to go. Next 10 minutes still full up rain, so no sign of the weather abating here. Ronald Charles again on the back of Yassine Manuel. Where is Yassine? There he is. Ronald Charles has passed him. So Yassine's had a moment in his Mercedes. Ron Stevens comes in, so he has an early pitter for the top 5, 6. Hopefully, is he? He is. There he comes. Hopefully he didn't run over the pit lane limiter. So Ruan pitting pretty much also 50-50 strat. He's going to have to put weights back on. Oh, Yassine. Ryan van Wyk right behind him. Ryan van Wyk for Team Shabin now up into 7th place and all over the back of Yassine Manuel. This will make some YouTube people happy. Oh dear. Ryan right under the wing of the Mercedes and looking to take advantage of a position here. If Yassine has another moment with his Mercedes, Ryan's going to go right past him, and Yassine runs deep. Yassine's run too deep and he's turning the Mercedes round. Oh, there's a bit of pressure for you. Ryan van Wyk up into 6th place. And there comes Ronald Charles in his Aston from 5th. So Ronald Charles pitting from 5th place. Look at this. Ryan van Wyk now up into 5th place. Yassine Manuel's rolling again, so he managed to catch the big Merc and on his way, but in 6th place as everyone goes past Ronald Charles, who's pitting. Ronald Charles will come out somewhere just in front of Kotze, etc. Stevens, James Stroud. Robin van der Merwe currently 4 tenths up on his delta. So everyone is slowly but surely going quicker and quicker. But the rain is not slowing down or not lessening at all. So I think everyone's getting kind of used to the conditions. Aston Martin, clearly very easy, comfortable car to drive in these conditions. I saw them on one of the big races over the weekend, a 24-hour event, I think 24 hours of Spa. And at some point in that race, the first 7 or 8 cars were all Aston Martins. Don't really see any gaps, so there's no close proximity driving at the moment, but let's just see who's doing what at the moment. So with just on half an hour left, Ashraf in the lead by 20 seconds from Gerrit Janssen van Vieren in second place. Third place, Diane de Villiers in his Lexus. And it looks like drivers looking for wet spots to actually cool tires down. So I wonder if people's tires are overheating here. Fourth place, it's Robin van der Merwe in the Logistical Nightmare Racing Aston. Fifth place, Ryan van Wyk for Team Shebeen in his Ferrari. Sixth place, Yassine Manuel in the Mercedes. Holding on to it now through the braking onto the long back straight. Seventh place, Carl Steeg in his Ferrari. Looking at the back of Yassine Manuel, so any possible incident, and Carl Steeg's gonna take advantage. We'll just watch him as they come through this section. Okay, all looks good. 8th place, Louis Marcus for Team Odin Racing in the Lexus, goes around the corner. Oh, Melvin, I think it's not Melvin, sorry, that Porsche. 9th place, Dale de Villiers in his Ferrari over the start finish line. 10th, Bradley Taylor in his Ferrari. Synthesis Racing. Not too far behind Bradley Taylor, James Leach for Team Leach Racing. And James hopefully coming to grips with the Lexus now. 12th place, JP van Nieuwenhuizen. I can't seem to select him. No, sorry, JP van Nieuwenhuizen has retired long time ago. Ronald Childs in 12th place. He's the first of the pitters. So Ronald Childs looking to undercut a lot of people now. If he can keep it clean and push from here and has everything right as far as tire pressures, etc., and can do some good, clean, consistent laps, he's going to jump a few positions. 13th, Calvin Diogo for the sim racing crew, and Calvin doing well, having a bit of a lonely drive, 7 seconds off the back of Ronald Childs, and still to pit. Then Dieval Kotze, the second of the cars already pitted for Sim Race Africa. Just behind him there's Ruan Stevens. So these guys in close proximity on the track. James Stroud, he's coming towards the start finish line in his Porsche. His ping rate's a little bit on the high side. Then Melvin Trollope in the Bentley, 17th place. Wyatt Avis in his Audi, currently in the pits. 18th, 19th place, Quibus Russ for NSIR, the big Mercedes. He's also pitted. And then 20th, Mark Hansen. And then a few other drivers and a few retirements. Right. Bradley Taylor comes into the pits from 11th, so he's pitting. Yassine Manuel tiptoeing the Mercedes through there and looking at the back of Carl Steeg's Ferrari. The gap's only a second at the moment. Oh, I just saw a car in the background there. I don't know if that was Dale de Villiers. It was, but he managed to catch it. He was all over the track with his Ferrari there for a moment. Right, well under halfway. 25 minutes of this race left. And the best part of the top 10 still haven't pitted. So they're either all hoping for the rain to subside and they can put some slicks on, or they're all been running with full tanks, which is some good pace from everyone. And it's about to get very busy in the pit lane. Ronald Charles in 11th place and everybody ahead of him still to pit. But Ronald Charles showing 2 laps down, so we'll have to see how that pans out once they do all start taking their pit stops. Carl Steeg running well here in 6th place. Yes, Dirk, definitely. As long as he keeps his nose clean and doesn't throw the car off the track. Now in 6th place. And pit stops are due. I saw just behind him, Yassine running a little bit deep there in his Mercedes. Oh, very deep. In fact, Louis Marcus in his Lexus, and Yassine dives into the pit lane. So Yassine's first in for his pit stop. Louis Marcus goes past in the Odin Racing Lexus. So Yassine into the pits from 7th place, I think, and he is the first of the top 10 to take his pit stop now. Carl Steeg now up into 6th place. There's a couple of seriously big laps here between everyone. Just going to have another look at Ronald Charles. He's 1.2 seconds. Here he is. He's going past James Leach is ahead, but Yassine in the pits. So Ronald Charles jumps Yassine. So that's a net position change for Ronald Charles. Yassine's in there for a long time. Is he rolling? He is rolling. He's just come out the pits now. So Yassine's done. Oh, I heard that. Who's there?
Hello, Alan.
How are you, buddy? Welcome and thanks for joining, man.
I'm a bit late, but I'm here and I'm ready to see some racing. I've been listening a bit to the commentary. It sounds like it's a wet race tonight.
It is, man. Welcome and good of you to join us. It's definitely been a wet race. It's not showing any form of stopping, and there's no dry weather at all. So the top 10 are just all about to start getting into their pit stops, us.
Which, looking at how green the field is all the way down, is quite surprising to me, but
Yeah.
it then kind of explains that they've been able to handle the rain. Their setups have been solid enough so that they're not struggling with tire pressures maybe being too low because of how wet the conditions are.
Exactly.
It shows the extra bit of experience that the top 10 might have, which is always nice to see, and it's always great seeing more drivers getting to that state.
Yeah, definitely. Ronald Charles was running up in the top 5 earlier, around about 4th, 5th, had a couple of moments, and then he fell back, and he was one of the first to pit. He is now busy undercutting people, so he's currently in 9th place, as you can see, and everybody ahead of him still to pit. However, it is showing him 2 laps down, so I'm kind of watching him because he's our kind of benchmark as far as position changes goes. Otherwise, gaps are pretty large between all the other drivers ahead and behind him. James Leach has just gone into the pits from 11th.
Excuse me, I need to quickly find how to get my tower set up correctly. It's not showing me the nice times.
No problem. Just be sure you out of race and in commentary mode, broadcast mode.
No, I'm definitely. I joined as a spectator. I'm just quickly setting everything up.
No problem.
That might be it.
Diane de Villiers in 3rd place in the Sim Race Africa Lexus. He's a good 13 seconds back, having a lonely race here in 13th. Robin van der Merwe is, however, back up into 4th place for Logistical Nightmare Racing, and these guys all have to come into the pits in the next couple of minutes. There's 20 minutes left of the race, so their fuel A is going to be depleting, and there's some damage that needs to be repaired in the case of this car specifically, as well as possibly a tire change. So looking at the weather, it's not looking like anything's drying up at all, and they're probably going to stay on the wet weathers.
I mean, that is to be expected. With these rainy races, I learned the hard way again that you shouldn't gamble and hope that the rain is going to last or go away.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned that you were also caught out by it, having to pit early because you were running out of fuel.
Yeah, that wasn't the weather's fault. That was just me thinking I'm going to stick with the 50-50 split, and then as it was coming up due for me to pit, I then saw on the weather that it was going dry, so I knew I had to throw the slicks on, and I was going to struggle with them.
That's what I mean. I was also fully expecting a full wet race.
Yeah.
And I didn't go with a 50-50 split. I think I went with maybe a 70-30 split to give me some options.
Yeah.
But I should know better. I should know that if there's rain, I should rather run deep as possible, and deal and live with the extra fuel load, knowing that I then have the option to take dries whenever I need to, and I don't have to worry too much about running out of fuel.
Agreed. I see Diane de Villiers has just pitted, and he's just left the pits, so he's coming out, and he went in from 3rd and he's out in 5th. That goes to show how big the gaps are. It was a very fast pit stop, so I can tell you, guaranteed he hasn't changed tires. He only took fuel to only drop 2 positions, so that was very quick. And he currently has Carl Steeg all over the back of him right now, but Carl Steeg still has to pit.
Yeah, Carl Steeg has to pit, so he's going to take some solace knowing that if he can just keep him behind, and even if he goes past, as long as he can stay on his tail, he'll get the position back.
Yep. Right, Ashraf, who's basically led from the flag, he's best a 144.5 and his last a 144.8. So Ashraf's consistency extremely stable and solid in the Lexus. And 17, he's managing his gap here, 17.5 seconds ahead. We saw that increase earlier on in the race to about 22 to 25 seconds. Oh, there we go, Rob. excuse me, Robin van der Merwe into the pits from 3rd place. So I think these guys are going to just have stop and goes now, as splash and dashes, because there's only 17 minutes left.
Careful with words like stop and go there. I'm already seeing down below someone has a stop and go penalty for speeding in the pits. I'm assuming.
Yeah, Jevon Tarika of Shabin Racing, unfortunately, he's had a penalty, and yeah, that has to be the. Is speeding in the pit lane not a deep? No, it's not a drive-through. A drive-through is for off-track excursions, eh? Yeah, I think so.
It's actually it depends. Severe speeding in the pits will net you a stop and go penalty, whereas slightly over speed limit will net you a drive-through.
Is Robin coming out the pits? So he went in 3rd. He comes out in 6th. Diane de Villiers has made a net jump there, who pitted early in the Lexus for SimRace Africa. And is that Ashraf right behind him? It is. So Ashraf has almost lapped up to Robin van der Merwe in 8th place, and he's in fact going past Robin, so that shows Ashraf's pace. So Diane de Villiers is currently in 4th place, and he has pitted, but I'm 100% certain he didn't change tyres, because it was that quick a pit stop.
And I think in the wet, it's not necessarily a problem not changing tires.
Agreed.
And technically, if you really want to, I know that in endurance races where you don't have a stint limit, the Ferrari that I drive in can do at least a 70-minute stint.
Okay.
And in those cases, you just make it work.
Yes.
You lose a bit of time closer to the end of your stint, but you just make it work, because it means that you don't have to put on tires. Ooh, what is happening?
De Villiers, they're both coming into pits. It's De Villiers and Marcus. Oh, and he actually that's not the breaking point, gentlemen. You can go quicker. The breaking point is only there. Oh, the guys have stopped so early. Yeah, there's an overtake happening in the pit lane.
I mean, I'm gonna be very honest and say that the same thing happened to me. I'm not sure who was behind, or was in front of me, and they were so slow, so I sped past them, and managed to hit my brake marker for pit entry. And as we exit pits, I noticed that they were issued with a drive-through penalty, so they were unsure about where exactly the pit line started.
Yeah, listen.
And all I could do was chuckle at that moment.
I mean, guys, when you do HLQs, you can't just put in 300 laps and never drive into the pit lane and see where the pit lane limiter is. In this instance, Marcus was stopping that far back, and he got overtaken in the pit lane. So Dale de Villiers has made a net position change, and he is now rolling out the pits, and good for him.
We can technically say he made that overtake stick before they got into the pits.
Yeah, he did. He totally did.
That Ferrari of his does look a bit second-hand.
Yeah, he's had a whole load of
paint.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I think I actually saw him spin in the background when I was focused on some other car.
Right, Louis Marcus is rolling, and he's coming out the pits, and he's all the way down to 10th. So he dropped a good couple of positions there because of the slow entry into the pit lane. All right, Ryan van Wyk is in the pits for Team Shabin Racing. This, I believe, is the Lewis Hamilton of Witbank. Sas?
Well, we'll have to see. I'm excited to see new names, and we're at the back end of the season. We were speculating today about season standings, and Essa already running away with it, even though he's missed 2 races.
Yeah.
And it's always fun to see drivers rock up close to the end of the season. They're a bit of a dark horse. You don't know what to expect. They sometimes slip into Div 1, or you find them at the top end of Div 2, and then next season there's new contenders here that are going to be battling for position in Div 1.
True. I need to just correct myself. I did make a little bit of a mistake there. It's not Ryan van Wyk. It's Yeah, Alf van Wyk looking like a young Hamilton. No, I'm right, sorry. Okay, never mind that. I'm just warbling on. Right, top three. Kasim, Janssen van Vieren and Mr. Steeg, they still have to pit, and there are 12 minutes in this race left. So, it's all where Diane de Villiers is going to come out in this race. He's pitted and running third, so he's already on the podium.
He is a lap down.
He is a lap down.
But then that means that Kasim and Janssen van Vieren has managed to lap a lot of the field. Oh no, they're all on the same lap.
No, they're on the same lap now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they're crossing the finish line, and then the timing screen is updating. Trying to get a feel for what the gap is.
So Ashraf is just going over the line now, and Diane de Villiers is down at turn 4. So it's like 3/4 of a lap.
Okay, so 3/4 of a lap. I think a lap is about 145. You said 144.
44s. So
a pit is going to be too quick. Kasim is not going to go in for tires. He's just going to go for a splash and dash, which would likely lose him about 30 seconds.
Look at the pit lane. Janssen van Vieren's in from second.
He's pulled the trigger.
He has. So here he comes. So now we got to watch where Diane is, and he is bombing through those fast right-handers through the hairpin at the end of the long back straight. So 2 corners to go, and Van Vieren has stopped. He's up on the jacks. We'll go back to de Villiers.
Up on the jacks. Then he's making a tire change. What is he doing?
No, the car jumped and now it's down. I don't know. He's rolling.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was just an animation that was...
No, man, I was looking at the wrong car. So Diane de Villiers is now only at the end of the long back straight.
Ah, okay. So Janssen van Vieren then is comfortably in second.
Yeah.
And this is something that I'm speculating a bit on now. He's maybe thinking, go and add the extra bit of fuel. I would think in wet conditions, having a bit of a heavier car might be beneficial in terms of grip. He might be trying to go for some type of an undercut or overcut, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Because last I saw, he was about 18 seconds behind Kasim. That's a big gap to make up, though. So I don't think it's necessarily gonna pay off.
Right. So Gerrit's out and rolling in second place. Diane de Villiers 14 seconds back. So that was the gap. That's what it turned out to at the end of the day. So we are only awaiting Ashraf to come in now. Liam Wright saying on the YouTube he was talking about Ruan Stevens, but there's 2 gents that are saying so-and-so is the Lewis Hamilton of Witbank. So sorry, man.
So Witbank is clearly representing tonight.
Very much so. Very much so. Right. Where is Ashraf? Here he is. He's going through sector 2 and heading down towards the long back straight. He seriously needs to come in very soon.
That's something I'm wondering about now. In the background, someone had a bit of a moment there.
It's an Audi. It's
I'm not sure. Does Assetto Corsa close the pits on the last lap?
I'm not sure. I do remember driving when the guy said to me, your pit window opens on this and it closes on that. So it definitely closes. I
think that's referring to a pit window based on fuel calculations. Okay. If you're using crew chief.
Well, he's got to get in sometime.
He definitely has, and that's what I'm curious about. Is he planning on pushing it right up to the end? And if he is, what's going to be the impact if he enters pits if the game closes pits? Because I know
here
that is a rule. Okay,
here it comes.
He knows that the pit start is very deep in.
So you can see people are taking that left-hand corner at speed. There he nails it. So right, he's in. He's rolling. Gerrit is.
I think he's much too far down the field.
He's only coming to the hairpin onto the long back straight. So he's a good half a track away. Kasim stopped. He's probably just taking fuel. There it bounced off the jacks and he's rolling. So that was just a splash and dash. He's going to be out with at least 20 seconds to spare. So good drive by that man. Janssen van Vieren.
That means that our last driver to pit is Mr. Carl Steeg.
Mr. Carl Steeg. Yep. He is
he's ahead. He's leading Robin van der Merwe by about 14 seconds. I'm not sure how far Ronald Childs is from Robin.
Right, Carl Steeg going down the long back through the fast right-handers. I'll tell you what, early in the evening you missed all the action here. This the second last right-hander, the sharp one, the braking before the hairpin. Everybody was going off there.
Oh, but that is a corner that can catch you out. I think there's a bit of standing water in the kink just before that corner.
Exactly.
And if you
oh
no, I'm not claiming commentator's curse on that. We were focused on him for quite a while before that.
We were. But anyway, here he comes. He'll be clever to come into the pits, and he does.
Yeah.
See, he's also slowing down there. Look, that's not the place to slow down.
This is the lesson that drivers will learn now.
Yeah, come on, guys. Now Dirk's going to blame us on the live stream. See, look, I told you. I'll move along. Let's go and see. Here comes Ronald Childs, and he's coming to the pit entrance. Goes past. Carl Steeg still in the pit. Is he rolling?
I think he's taking tires for how long he's been stopping. And he's rolling now.
Okay. Well, Ronald Childs back up into 5th place, so he's done well. Ronald was up here earlier and had a couple of...
sorry.
Yes.
Ryan van Wyk, he has just come around the last corner. And Carl Steeg is going to be stuck in pits.
Rowan Stevens just spun the Rover Porsche on the start-finish line in the background. I've caught him now. He's got it back going again. Jason Holden Jones.
I'm feeling so much for Steeg right now. He's stuck in that pit lane. He has to wait. He's losing positions. But I think he's going to be able to exit.
There he comes.
Behind Stevens. No, behind De Villiers.
Okay. Jason Holden Jones nailing the Rover stroke PWSR Association. So Carl Steeg in and out and in 8th place with 4.5 minutes to go. Top 10 finish if he can get it to the finish. So
in itself, what was his qualifying position? I don't know if you maybe remember.
I don't. I'm sorry. So I can't be 100%.
But either way, I'm trying to say that no matter where he qualified, I still feel that a top 10 finish in the wet, that's no easy feat if you're not used to it.
Oh, he was 8th.
He was 8th.
He was 8th.
So he's in position right now.
Yeah.
He's going to have to be careful with Rowan Stevens right on his back. I think the best that Carl has done was a 145 and a 145.6, and Stevens' best is a 144.9. But that spin had meant he lost quite a bit of time on his last lap.
Yep. You can see the conditions have seriously tested these drivers. We're watching Janssen van Vieren coming up to lap Calvin Diogo for the sim racing crew and put him 3 laps down, and Calvin Diogo's in 15th place. So the guys have had a serious struggle with these conditions.
But I'm happy that we're running these conditions. I'm happy that everybody is getting the experience and hopefully learning from it.
Exactly. Right, so 3 minutes left, or just under, and De Villiers goes over the start-finish line in 3rd place. Rowan Stevens in 9th place. He's only 1.6 seconds behind Carl Steeg, and they have your team driver.
Yes, they have my teammate there. I think He's also battling the wet, but
Yeah.
I did see him let Mr. Steeg by. So, and as I say that, he's letting Mr. Stevens by as well.
Yep. Yeah, well, I saw the NSRR Merc sideways a couple of times here tonight.
Yeah, apparently he said that Mercedes has not been agreeing with him a lot.
Oh dear.
Which my advice was, next season take the same car as me, then I can spend a lot more time with him and help out where I can.
Good man. Okay, well, we don't really have any other close dices happening on the track. Ron Stevens 1.8 seconds off the back of Carl Steeg, and you can see them in the same frame though. So should Carl have a moment, Ron will pick up that position.
So I will say that Yassine Manuel is being closely followed by Louis Marcus.
That's true.
Looking at their last lap times, Marcus is about 1.5 seconds quicker, but it might have been that it's traffic that's causing the pace difference. They've been freed up both right now, and the gap looks to be standing at about 1.5 seconds.
Yassine Manuel also had a very eventful evening. He was running quite high up early on, 5th, 6th, and he's run deep in the big Merc a couple of times through some sharp corners, and there's been some opportunistic moves happening. So up and down the grid there was racing all night.
Quickly having a look at where Kasim is right now. So there's 50 seconds left. He is just entering sector. He's just entered sector 3 right now. I think that will put him comfortably in a place where he'll start his next lap will be the final lap.
Final
of the race.
lap, that's correct. So he's just finishing.
So that means that the battle between Marcus and Yassine is still up for two laps.
Good point there. Good point there. So Kasim through the final corner and over the start finish line with 15 seconds to go. So he is now going to start the last lap.
And as you say that, I get the message played in my ears, and I'm looking at Yassine and Marcus, and the gap is now at 0.7 seconds. So I'm expecting a bit of action to go down here in this last lap of theirs.
Ryan van Wyk now in 6th place. Only 2 seconds behind is Dale de Villiers in his Ferrari, so the Ferrari is also dicing for position. Oh, Louis Marcus closing in. They go over the start finish line, and this is close.
This is their last lap. This is their last lap.
So we'll keep an eye out on them. Yep,
I think Marcus is quicker in this section.
Yeah.
He runs wide, and I don't think that's going to give him the exit that he needs.
No, I think he's okay.
Maybe. Keep control of it.
Yeah. Okay. Dropped
it's
off
not going to put him in the draft.
I'm going to go and see where Kasim is.
He's coming up to the last few corner. Well, the last corner right now.
Yep.
Flag to flag, you say?
Flag to flag, easy peasy. 20 seconds continuously. Look at the gap, it's 23.5 now. So very, very well done to Ashraf Kasim. Great drive. Second place, Gerrit Janssen van Vieren. And I think he's pretty much been second or third all the race. Did drive his way up into second place. Oh, and as he comes around the last corner, he just misses. Oh dear, Carl Steeg trying to turn the car around, and Calvin Diogo goes right through him in his Mercedes.
Yassine Manuel is just holding on to the lead there in their battle.
Ryan de Villiers comes over for third. Robin van der Merwe for Logistical Nightmare Racing. Here he comes round the final couple of corners. He's coming over for fourth. How's it going further back there?
At the back, I've seen Manuel manage to just slip out underneath Marcus there.
Okay. Robin van der Merwe over for fourth. Ronald Charles in his Aston Martin coming down the long back straight. He'll make fifth. And then everyone else is pretty much finished already. Because they were lapped up until sixth, I think, or fifth.
I'm jealous. This must have been such an eventful race to watch.
I was very busy in the first 30 minutes, I tell you what. Everyone up. I went click and they spun. I went click and they spun. Well, not that bad, but there was moments everywhere. And there we go.
The lasers were working overtime.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to put our countdown screen on. Let's go and see if you can find Kasim up at least.
I see him. I'm gonna bringing him.
Good man.
Right
Good
now.
man. Good man.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
How was that race, buddy?
It was wet, very, very wet.
Very wet and very controlled, Ashraf. You did a great job there, sir.
Thanks a lot. I was just trying to be as cautious as possible around that track because, you know, the weather was bad.
Well, it's you put this under your belt for experience, man. This is what the whole thing was about, you know?
No, it was a great race. That was actually my first win on ACC, so I'm really chuffed about that.
Well, then double congratulations, sir.
That's definitely a double double. Well, I'll add to that a triple congratulations because it's your first win in the wet.
Excellent.
That is not an easy feat.
It was challenging, but I actually watched the Zaire Esa's stream on Monday.
Yes.
And I was trying to figure out what he was doing in the wet.
Yeah.
Like trying to pick up some tips here and there.
Yeah.
And it actually helped a lot. Really a lot.
So that goes to show, eh?
What I usually take away from the Fast Oaks is slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Yeah. Definitely.
And that's very true in the wet.
Yeah. And stay off the curbs.
Yeah, look, I think as well, and what you did well was to also, but you weren't further back in the field, so you managed to get a jump from the flag and stay ahead of everyone, so you were out of trouble, and you could then manage that gap, and the Lexus slipped after you all the way around the lap.
Definitely. Starting at the front, I don't think I would have been able to be that cautious through the whole race, you know.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, that was great stuff, Ashraf, and congrats on your first win, my man.
Thanks a lot.
Awesome, man. Thank you for coming in and chatting with us.
No problem. Thanks.
Cool.
Yes.
Cheers. There you go, sis. Thanks, buddy. And it was an eventful evening. You can go and watch it on the live stream if you want to later. But what did you take away from the whole week's worth of racing?
The whole week's worth of racing is wet racing is extremely fun.
Yeah.
It's tough, but it's very fun, and I'm glad we caught that this one of the drivers mentioned that the track will likely be very flooded with our initial server configuration.
Yes.
But I'm glad we caught that, and it ultimately led to a very interesting Misano. I remember Nick and I were discussing. We were worried that the wet might lead to a very argy-bargy type of race.
Yeah.
But I think the previous race on Monza had taught people like, hey, wet racing is a thing. You need to be aware of it at least.
Exactly.
And better prepare for it mentally. And I'm actually very excited to see more of those types of races in the future and seeing what people can do. I know that I kind of tend to shine, and I'm looking forward to seeing more people shine in the wet.
There was a little chat that we had in Team PWSR. You tend to see other drivers kind of shine, and that are more or less, mid or the 2/3 down the field actually come up into the midfield.
Yes.
It kind of closes the gap a lot more than the outright pace of a dry race.
Yes, it definitely does. And I think more importantly, it's drivers learning not to be scared of it, because that's what puts people off. Is crazy weather fluctuations can screw with your strategy, but in the end, that's part of racing.
It is.
You deal with it and you live and learn through your mistakes, so that you're better prepared. I should have learned my lesson and ran a deeper stint with more fuel. And I learned that lesson in Monza. I actually went to pit too early because I was running out of fuel.
You and me
struggling
together.
on cold tires.
Yep.
Whereas this time I made the exact same mistake, and I could have avoided all of that.
Me too. I actually said to my team, geez, I wish you guys would talk out loud about this and say, put in more fuel to carry you longer. And two of them said, oh, but we did. And I was like, oh, sorry, I wasn't listening. So it was all my own fault. I'm saying it the same as you. You learn from these kind of little mistakes, and it'll help you to be better in the future. So,
and what the race we had on Donington, that endurance race, that was so much fun. With swapping and changing the whole time from wet to dry, it really made for some interesting choices. And I'm looking forward to those extended races also incorporating a more dynamic set of weather configuration.
Yep. And also good big thumbs up to the new hosting environment. The servers seem to be very robust. There was no drop-offs or no people. Well, there was one or two people that disconnected, but they did post saying that it was problems on their side. So it seems like the platform is very stable. So all good.
Speaking of simracing.gp, I'm quickly going to punt this. On July 26th, I think, the Saturday, we're hosting a 3-hour solo endurance race on Suzuka, and we're trying to get 100 drivers on. It's the only track that allows for so many drivers. I think the closest is Spa with 80 slots.
Yep.
We're literally trying to benchmark these servers and see what we can throw at them and how much they can handle. You mentioned that you'll be commentating on it. I'm very much looking forward to doing it. If anybody is keen, come join the Discord. Go to simracesa.co.za. A lot of the links that you need you can find over there, and sign up to simracing.gp and go join the event. I can promise that it's going to be a lot of fun. It might be a bit busy on track, but that's part of what we're trying to see here is what is possible.
Exactly. It's a fun event, so yeah. Come and join, and hopefully we'll see you on the track. I think we're fresh out of time here, so I'm going to say goodnight from me, and we'll catch up with you soon for the... we're almost down to the final rounds of touring cars, legends, F3, everything. So keep a watch out on the racing calendars, and we'll see you probably next week, Monday.
Yes, I think we're on the last round of Legends next week, and then thereafter it's round 6 of the 2021.1 season. It flew past.
It did. Good. Thanks to everyone for joining us on the YouTube channel, and we'll catch up with you soon. So cheers from me.